Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, Pro Tech Dog Training. I thought I would accent this because another trainer actually went out of his way to do a video on why do we hit dogs with sticks, and he made some great accent points in regards to testing, right, and breeding programs and things like that, why we do what we do with sticks. There's a bunch of sticks that are available in different sports and different things that we use. This would be a hard stick. That's going to hurt if it hits the dog a little bit, right? It might sting a little bit. The biggest thing though is this whip at the bottom is going to create a stimulus so that we get, okay, a nice pop. And that stimulus is going to start stimulating the dog and can be used as a marker, as this gentleman was talking about. He marks when he transitions from play and prey, and boom, boom, starts to bring on pressure, and he shows that dog that different look of defense, right? So a lot of times when you're seeing this stuff happen, you hear him talking about channeling drives is talked about a lot. And what we want to do is we want to try to go play and pray with a puppy like this, and as the dog gets old enough and more mature enough to be able to handle the pressure, we start what I call flipping into defense. Okay, so we're going into play and pray, we get the dog excited, he's into the game, and now we show him a different picture. We start showing him defense and pressure into the dog, and then we'll flop right back into that prey again because that's drive. If you notice me working these puppies, I am always accenting the fact that I'm going on a crescendo, and I'm working the dog, and all of a sudden I'll crescendo, it's right into toy, okay? So that working from one mental state of mind to another state of mind is something the dog needs to learn to transition from, okay, and into and out of, right? And they call that channeling drives. It's real important when you're starting to build a dog to understand this concept and be able to read the animal and to be able to see what the animal is giving you so you can understand and feel, because you do, you feel it in your gut, you feel it in your instincts as you start getting more and more adept at doing this stuff and seeing that picture of going into defense and what it causes on the dog. And if it's too much pressure, you're getting too much growling, too much other type of emotional states of mind that you don't want, you're going to want to flip that right back into prey again and teach him that if he accepts pressure, if he accepts defense, that you're going to flip into prey and give him what he wants. Remember, in the beginning, everything's drawn off of this play and pray. So the dog is so high on that whole aspect of it, and this is where the dog is happy. This is what the dog wants, is that chasing of game and pulling it down, that prey aspect of the mental state of mind of the dog. Okay. The other thing that he mentioned in his video the other night was pretty interesting, was he was correlating it to emotions, right? Teaching the dog to deal with these emotional states of mind that may make him have anxiety and not be comfortable mentally, okay? So you're basically transitioning from play and pray into defense so that the dog learns to accept what that is, give his all in that mode, and then flip it into play and pray. The more you do that, hey! The more you do this, the more the dog starts to learn to accept this and now starts to build his ability. And the end drive, what we're really after, and this is more for those tough street dogs, there's more police dogs, we end up wanting what they call fight drive. And there's not many dogs that really give a true fight drive, but when you have it and you know it's there when you're an officer or something on the street, this is the gold mine. This is where the dog goes out and says, I'm going to kick this mother blank's ass because I want to get into the ring and I want to fight. So I always kind of correlate it to like you would build a boxer, a young boxer. You'd teach him sparring, he would do all the basics of it, and then you would take him out and you would do a real event where he had to get into the ring for real, and ding ding fights on, ding dings fights off, meaning you can't get out of the ring until it's over with, even though you're getting your ass kicked if you were, and you were in that situation. You have to have the mental toughness to get through it and understand that you've got to drive through and really give it true fight drive, right? Real true fight, because I'm going to get off my ass and I've got to fight this mother blank, because if I don't, I'm going to get my ass kicked, right? So there's a certain aspect of that we want the dog to feel, that inner confidence to a point where he becomes a fighter like Ali. Ali had no lack of confidence. He went out there and float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's kind of what we're all going after when we build this in a dog. I always talk about building a house. That's what I'm always interested in. Everything I do is all about building confidence within that animal. I don't do sport. I don't do things that are more choreographed ballet like Schutzen, what I call a choreographed ballet, pattern training, things like that. But I use all the aspects of all those sports, what they have to give me, because they all have some validity in how they're building that dog's confidence to do the sport that they're into, right? Whether it's ring sport, whether it's Schutzen, you'll see a stick like this used a lot in Schutzen with a nice pop and a whip. Okay, let's go over and go through these different sticks. This is a rattlestick or a clatter stick, okay? This is the one that they use a lot in ring sport, and they use it everywhere in here. They do set up a barrage. The dog's got to try to get through this wall that the decoy is setting up. That's what that's all about. When you see him waving that, he's trying to test the dog's ability to go through things, right? And then you see this a lot in Schutzen. This is what he was talking about the other night when he was talking about soft stick, okay? You can hit you, it's nice and soft, but it's not going to really hurt you. It bends, it's designed to smack the dog without any damage to the animal, right? You can hear it, but that's about it, right? And I might have a little small welt on me if I keep that up, but it's not enough to hurt the dog. And we always, if you ever notice how they're hitting the dog, that's important too, by the way, guys. Most of the time when they're working the sport, they'll have the handler will be holding the dog back on a leash, and the decoy is actually taking it, he's putting over the withers, so right over the shoulder, boom, 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 and it's at a side glance, right? That's not going to hurt the dog. That's why we don't want to smack him on the head. We're not trying to negativize the dog. We're trying to make him get a little tougher because it's a little bit of stress on the dog. Dog's frustration and stress comes up, and now that's what he's into. He's into the fight. We're trying to take that dog's transition all the way up to that point where he becomes real confident and he has what's true fight drive, which isn't as common as you would think. Okay. Then the other thing that they do with that leash, the handler's holding the leash, and here's the dog lunging at the end of the leash. The handler's got the dog. The decoy will be smacking that leash. It looks like he's hitting the dog, but he's actually hitting the leash. And so it makes a smack. It makes a little bit of pressure type of okay, but it's not hurting the dog because they're actually hitting the leash. And you've got to watch, pay attention to where they're striking the dog with their sticks and how they're working the dog, right? How'd you get that sack? How'd you get that sack? Yeah. So, I want to introduce your girl Diana to this today. Real good. That's my girl. Good girl. But only for noise stimulation and just kind of preliminary getting her broken into the stick, the rattlestick mainly. This is stimulation, right? The sound of it. She's never had a rattlestick around her. She knows that sound, but she does not know this sound. Notice I'm keeping my back to her and my profile. Again, very important when I'm breaking something new into the dog. I don't just come at the dog and here's the dog and here I am like this. This frontal profile is what the dog will freak out at. So I'm going backwards. And I'm rattling my stick so she gets used to it and keeping stimulation up. So she gets used to the sound. That's all I'm trying to do right now, right? Good girl, good. And this would be an extension of my arms. Notice my